changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Wow Wednesday, and I want to share a story from our brand new book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Random Acts of Kindness. Now, I've got to warn you, if you're listening with a child, you may want to hold off on listening to this podcast until you're alone, as this is a pretty intense story. It does have a happy ending, though. In fact, the story is called Finding Peace. So, Piper Dellums starts her story by telling us that she heard her little dog yelping in pain. Why? Because a man had invaded Piper's home and had just thrown her dog into the bathroom and slammed the door shut. Then the man viciously attacked and raped Piper. And after he left, Piper lay there bleeding and listening to her dog whimpering in the bathroom. And Piper was whimpering too. She says that her dog was whimpering the way she had when Piper first rescued her from an alley in Venice Beach. That poor dog back then had been curled up in the shadows, lying on top of trash and broken glass, ignored and alone. And had Piper not found that dog when she did, that little dog would have died right there in that rat-infested alley. But Piper found her, and she had her treated at the vet, and then she brought her home. The first few months with that little dog were challenging because the dog was still so scared that she hid beneath Piper's bedroom dresser and never allowed Piper to touch her. Piper just kept leaving water and food in front of the dog's hiding place and opening the door to her gated yard so the dog could go outside when she needed to. But eventually, after months of hiding, the dog learned to trust Piper, and one morning, Piper woke up to find that dog in her bed lying on the pillow next to hers. They were inseparable after that, best friends, until the day that the rapist invaded their home. Ironically, he had a tattoo on his hand of an Om. It was ironic because Piper had named the dog Om Shanti. Om is a vibration, often defined as the sound of creation, and Shanti means peace. After the attack, Piper managed to call for an ambulance. When it arrived, unfortunately, someone freed the dog from the bathroom, but then didn't pay attention, and the dog got away. And in fact, she was last seen chasing the ambulance. A little 8-pound dog who had no chance of catching up to that ambulance that contained her best friend. So when Piper was finally released from the hospital, she spent every waking moment searching for her little dog. She posted signs, she looked online, she looked everywhere using every method. But a month went by with no sign of her little dog Shanti. And then one night, Piper got a call from a woman in Boston, 3,000 miles away. She had been going through missing pet notices, and she was so moved by the story about this dog, and she had this mental image of that little dog chasing the ambulance. And this woman, whose name fittingly was Angel, said she would get to work on the search. Angel called Piper a week later and said she might know where Shanti was. She said, "I don't know if it's your Shanti, but there is a dog with the same huge ears, wearing the red collar you described, but without any tags, and she's in a kennel in the city of Downey." Now, Downey was 150 miles away from Piper's home in L.A., and Piper never would have thought to look that far. But it turned out that it was Shanti. A nurse from a hospital in Los Angeles had found the dog hiding under a bush, and since she was on her way out of town, she picked up the dog and she took her with her where she was going, and she left her at a shelter there. And the dog was scheduled to be put to sleep that very day. Piper had found her just in time. So she got her, she drove her back home, and all was right with the world again. After all those weeks, through the kindness of a stranger named Angel, Piper and her dog Shanti, which means peace, were reunited, which is why the story is called Finding Peace. So there's your sample from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Random Acts of Kindness. We're very excited about this new book, and we had a record number of stories submitted for it, which tells me that this is a topic that is top of mind for everyone. There has been so much divisiveness in the world recently that it really helps to remember that people are still basically nice and that they will reach out and help each other. That story is just one of the 101 in our new book about random acts of kindness. Each story is unique, but we learn this universal lesson from all of them. We are all capable of both needing help and providing help. And it's this give and take, the ability to be a provider and a recipient, depending on our circumstances, that makes us part of a united community of people who really do care about one another. Come back tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday. We're going to be back on Valentine's Day again, and we're going to talk about how men give gifts, and we're going to get a new perspective on Valentine's Day. I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. If you want to read more stories from our Random Acts of Kindness book about all the miracles that happen as a result of people looking out for each other, please go to our website, chickensoup.com.